Hello, Mental Health Warrior TV. Steve Knapp, the Mindset Warrior. Just jumping on with a little quick intro into what we're going to be doing tonight. I'm going to bring Tessa on shortly after we get to play our brand new video clip for the first time on our show. And tonight we're going to be covering off, having a bit of a discussion around the 6 core human needs and what that means for us and how it will affect our lives, whether we're using them resourcefully, unresourcefully, and how we can sort of probably better think around what we're doing, because our needs, we're going to meet them regardless of anything else. So I will play the video and bring Tessa on, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, Tessa. Happy Tuesday.
Hey,
How you doing?
yeah, awesome. Happy Tuesday.
Yay. Yay. The best part of the day by far, no doubt.
Agree. Have to agree. Yeah,
And
doing what we love, hey?
Yes,
Best part of the
definitely.
day.
Much more than what we've been doing for the rest of the day.
So true.
And I think I might throw a disclaimer out for this one. I will throw myself completely under the bus. This topic was my thinking. And to be honest, it's not something I've got a massive, massive understanding of. So I thought it'd be really cool for Tessa and I to unpack it all and make things understandable and relatable as we talk through it. And then we'll be able to sort of unpack it with everyone watching as well. How's that sound?
I think it sounds awesome because you know what? It keeps in line with what we've been trying to share with everybody anyway, which is the beliefs, the thinking, the behaviors, the decisions that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. And now we get to the needs. And these core needs, these 6 core needs are what we all have, and how we respond to life and, to these needs. Like you said earlier, we will do everything to meet these needs. The only thing we need to really be aware of, and I guess that's what we are for, is whether you're responding to them in a resourceful way or an unresourceful way.
Yeah? Definitely. And Kerry's telling me to change the layout so that we have the Warrior's name above us. I would certainly do that if I had any idea how, and I absolutely have none. I run with how it's set, and I don't know how to change it.
Yeah, Carolyn, it's so awesome to understand ourselves better. It's so good. So let's jump in. Like, what are the needs? What are the 6 core needs?
Yes, and it will sound like it's a bit of a paradox because some of the needs that go together are polar opposites. And I think that's really, here we go, Adam's come to the saviour. There you go. I've got that showing, and that's good. It makes me smaller. I think that's just slimmed me down. I'm happy to be moving it that way. Yeah, so I was saying that, they're paradoxical. So they sound like they're polar opposites, but if we're over-focusing on one side, we'll probably be being very unresourceful on the other side, or be missing parts that we really want. So we have, out of the 6, the first 4, they're more of your personality traits, I suppose. And then the other 2, they're more of your spiritual. So on the top line of our core needs, we run with certainty and variety. So, yeah, as I said, total opposite. So certainty might be something basic as always wanting to take the same route to work every day. Or you're certainly knowing the sun's coming up in the morning. The basic things are going to keep us safe, I suppose, and have an understanding. And then the variety is obviously the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. And like with certainty, the other words for certainty is safety and comfort. When you want everything to be certain in your life, you don't want any changes. You want to know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and a
And
bit of
so,
stability, isn't it?
yeah. And some people are just like that. That's their needs, and that's really okay, because that's who we are. Um, and and so, but sometimes we need to bring a little uncertainty, or like, as you said, variety. So the word for uncertainty, the two other words, whichever takes your fancy, for uncertainty is also variety and adventure. So
Yeah,
those people who love changes, love meeting new people, they constantly changing things up. But as long as it's resourceful, or not and as long as it's resourceful, not a problem.
yeah, yeah. It's only when we tap into the unresourceful side of it that we can cause problems, isn't it? Like, I suppose if you focus, your balance is a bit way too much towards the certainty, you're
Yeah,
possibly eliminating your chance of having fun and adventure, yet
you want
spontaneity.
to
Like,
control everything.
it can trap
Um,
you in boredom. You end up.
yeah,
I'm so worried about playing the safe game that all of the entertaining side of things are out of balance, and then you can go the other way, and being so unresourceful on that side can make you reckless, and then you start going a bit too overboard to compensate, and you can do some crazy things.
exactly. And so with uncertainty, things like when you're really being unresourceful is changing jobs all the time, changing relationships all the time. So you're not getting to experience um, the resourceful way of being with someone, and rather within your relationship, for example, creating that adventure and variety that you seek um, from your needs within the relationship, instead of saying, oh no, this is not working, and jumping to the next relationship, because it just leaves you unfulfilled all the time. Same thing with your job, for example. Instead of job hopping, because that could be so unresourceful, and it can ruin your reputation in the marketplace as well. Rather
Yeah,
try to, within your job, find things that inspire you, that create that variety, that create that growth, which is what we all need. Yeah.
yeah. I reckon that's spot on, because no matter what side you lay in, I know. I think we use this word every single show, but awareness, having awareness around what you're doing and whether that side is being resourceful or unresourceful is massively important, because no matter what side you tend to go on, you can be massively unresourceful or massively resourceful either way. If it's the same thing you're saying with like staying in one job so that you've got the stability, then you could be like me at the moment, staying in one job as safety, but
Yeah.
not serving me the purpose of where I want to go and not being in alignment. So, yeah, so either side, you can have the same problem on both sides of the fence. It's crazy.
Exactly, because with your, craving that certainty of having that secure job, I guess, where it's, as you say, no longer in alignment with you, it's not um, giving you that growth that you need, and you don't feel like you're really contributing, but you don't want to go anywhere because you need that certainty, you crave that certainty. Often also unresourceful ways that we can crave or meet our need for certainty. Remember, we always bring it back to being aware of your beliefs, how you grew up, what are the things that um, that you carry with you, the information, the thinking. Because sometimes when we want that certainty, we're so afraid of the change, we will, to get certainty, do things like binge watch TV and only do that.
Yeah,
Use food as a feeling certain, so it's really, really unresourceful. And I guess we need to find more resourceful ways to get that certainty that we crave.
yeah, so true. Like we often forget that basically every single fear we have is learned. Like I'm sure we are born with two fears: loud noises and falling. If you're afraid of anything else in your life, it is a learned fear, not something that was actually part of your imprint in your brain at birth. So you think of how many things we're afraid of: spiders or snakes or flying or heights. It's all a learned fear, and that shows that's on the unresourceful side, because if we're choosing to believe something that's not actually a fact.
Yeah, and I guess it is also our brain's way of keeping us safe. So it goes to the extreme, I guess, when one of our core needs is certainty. So we will even procrastinate to stay in the same space so that we don't make that change. Say it is something that you need to do that's new and that's different. You'll procrastinate, you'll binge watch the TV, as we said, or you'll eat food because that is a safe space. It keeps you in one place, and you don't have to do that new thing. So that's how we need to think about things. Like when you're lying there on your bed or on your couch, just watching, binging series after series after series, like, hey, Tessa, what's going on here? What is this about? Question yourself and really, start facing that, because what else could you be doing that's more resourceful and can still give you that certainty? Because there are resourceful things that can still give us certainty.
Oh, 100%. Like just having like the basic things like stress. Like you've had a tough day at work, you're stressed, unresourcefully, you decide to get rid of that stress. I'm going to come home and have half a dozen beers, wines, whatever. Or resourcefully, you're like, I'm stressed, I've got this pent-up energy, go for a walk, go for a jog, hit the gym. Like polar opposites, but they're both solving the same problem.
Yeah,
yeah, just a bit of what we tap into.
It's so important to and to really like get to know yourself, question yourself, because we know when we're going into that space, we at the back of your head, there's something going on. And then just start questioning and say, how can I change this? I mean, we can do even like more things, even on the uncertain side. When you feel like like a resourceful way for uncertainties, that playfulness, you embrace adventure, you love meeting new people, so you go out a lot. But then we can be unresourceful as well in our need for certainty, like we spoke about earlier with the job hopping or the what did we say? Relationship changing. But it could also be drugs. It could also be alcohol, as you were speaking about. That can also be something that we do in an unresourceful way when we want to meet that need for difference, for variety, for adventure, for uncertainty. So we'll do things like that because it gives us a different feeling. It takes us out of the headspace of us wanting to satisfy that uncertainty that we want, or that having more fun or something different because we're bored.
Yeah, so true, so true. And I suppose we should get back into a couple of the comments here.
Yeah.
So, I saw a question from Adam. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in a little while. And saw Caroline's ones, and Kerry having a phobia of the dentist that she's passed on to her kids. That's very, very common. A lot of our phobias and beliefs are passed down through our lines. It just tends to be the way it is, especially when kids are young and they're in that sponge phase of absorbing everything we say. And then Adam's he's gonna try to sneak in some NLP on us, saying if you tell your subconscious mind you have this phobia and fear of these things, then psychologically and physically you're going to be scared of them. Spot on. If you tell yourself something, you believe it. whether it's true or not. It's exactly how it works. You implant things into your brain that suit the narrative you want to tell it. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's normally unresourceful.
Normally unresourceful. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's in the subconscious already, and we don't know, I guess, where we got it, like with what Kerry is talking about. Her kids have picked that up because she's afraid or has a phobia of going to the dentist. And maybe, Kerry, what you could possibly do to change that for them is to get the dentist involved and make this a different experience for them. It's like a friend of mine as well. She has this fear of dogs. She was bitten when she was little, and you can just see the terror whenever there are dogs around for her. But what's happened? Nothing's happened to her kids, but they have that same fear, So they are missing out on how lovable dogs can be.
So missing
out. They're missing out so much. And I've also said to her, it's okay for us to have our fears, but when it comes to our kids, we must really try to, for their sakes, try and find a way to change that for them. And same thing happened with my daughter. She, when she was 2 years old, she was at play school, 3 years old, was at play school. And it was, someone had also brought their dog, and the dog was a puppy, but he was a Labrador. So he kind of was so jumping, and it gave her such a fright that she was afraid of dogs for a long, long time. And I kind of nurtured her away from that. And now she'll go up to any dog and just, want to pet the dog. And I always have to say, ask the owner first, and then you go. So we still do that. But what happened was, I didn't want her to have this fear of all animals. And so we got her a kitten. And so we introduced animals into the household because she wasn't ready for a dog. And she loves her cat. She loves her cat. So we've always had cats, not dogs so much. But now, at the age of 12, she's like, I want a Pomeranian, Mom. Can we have a dog as well? So she got over that fear because, so we can nurture our kids and help them through this, even if we maybe still have the fear. And that's what my friend did as well. We kind of worked with her kids. So just because she has this fear, they don't have to grow up and miss out.
And it's a good point that you can bring in something that isn't exactly the same, but it can be that step down that starts to build the comfort and the confidence levels back up. And then you can introduce a thing that people are afraid of, whether that's like you start off 4 or 5 steps back. It probably depends on the level and extremity of fear around it. But yeah, you can always just introduce little things that, will make it easier. Like the dentist, it could start with more of the dental checkup in the school vans that you have come around. It might not quite as fearful maybe as the full-on dentist. And then when they have like the giraffes and all that sort of stuff to make it more relaxed, like just trying to implement little things that sort of get in the head before that fear factor and let you slowly develop confidence in what's been holding you back.
That's such a great idea, Steve, because you're right. And if they're surrounded by other kids who, they have a little bit of fear for the dentist, most people do. I'm generalizing, but your kids will see that they, my friend is nervous, but they're still going. And then that'll turn into more and more confidence for them, I guess.
Yeah. Adam reckons that Kerry, as soon as you mentioned dentist, Kerry was hiding under the quilt. I don't know. Yeah, I have no fear of the dentist apart from when I know already before I go how much it's going to cost. them and the vet, they're the two that kill me before I even walk in there. That's my fear's all monetary related for them too. It's like, this is no good.
And Kerry is spot on with the way we grew up and how the dentists were. Like, that's why I said I'm generalizing, but it's because we were all had this fear, and the way they they treated us back then, it was like, suck it up. And
I had a great dentist as a kid. He was amazing, but then he moved. He must have retired or something and left the area. But he was great. I had no issues going to him.
Like now, I mean, we just took my daughter, and the dentist, he's great, and you can see it. He made her feel comfortable, was explaining everything. It wasn't as terrifying a situation as it normally is, or could have been, I should say. Yeah.
And it's probably like anything too. If you're going to the dentist with the mindset that this is going to be awful and it's going to be horrible, no matter what happens, it's going to be awful and horrible. Whereas if you go there going, it's just routine, it's just what's got to be done, I'm going to have minimal discomfort and I'm going to come out great, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the experience, because you've already decided it's not going to be awful. So you sort of got to help yourself, guide yourself a little bit there as well, and make sure you don't get caught out before you even begin.
So true, so true.
And I need to scroll up because I did see a question from Adam that we didn't get to yet. It was way back here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The question for us both was, what drives us every morning, or what motivates us to get up every morning and say, I'm going to have a good day? Wow. For me, that's purely intention.
Yeah.
It's pretty much that simple. I like to set it. I haven't been as good at it the last couple of weeks, probably why work sucks. But when I was having that great run at work, I set my intention the night before. So as I'm going to bed, have it in my head, yep, tomorrow everything's going to serve me. It's going to go great. Nothing's going to go wrong. Have an awesome day. It's going to be perfect. Wake up in the morning, basically the same thing. Yep, today's going to be a great day. And quite often with that intention set, I'll find more green lights. I don't find roadworks or traffic jams. It's funny how the universe always wants to give us what we want and what we're asking. So
gives you more of what you're asking for. You spot on, Steve. So if your day starts with negativity, saying all these things to yourself, you are going to get more of that. Yeah. If you wake up, and I mean, it really, really sounds cliche when we say it, but just be grateful. Like, really, when you're in the space that we see a lot of people who don't have the things we have. In every way, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, they don't have everything we have. And someone said to me the other day, which I loved, is, Tessa, someone would love to have your problems.
100%. 100%. 90% of the people in the world would do a cartwheel and a backflip to experience what we consider to be an annoying problem, because it's so much better than what they're experiencing on a great day. And that's where that gratitude's so crucial, to have that understanding and appreciation of how good we really do have it. And I mean, obviously our experiences are our experiences, so we're going to see the worst in what we think is a bad thing, but in the big scheme of things, nothing in our lives is really that awful. We're very, very fortunate.
Yeah. And really, Adam, I mean, I guess, what I've been doing more and more of lately is, and it's actually routine practice. It's really motivation is up and down for everyone, but you need to, like Steve says, you set the intention. I also, these days, I tap into a lot of, especially if I've woken up, had a bad dream, or anything that bothers me, or that I've brought into my sleep and then woke up feeling like, nah, I will immediately tap into memories that have made me feel good. Like anything, a fantastic holiday that I had. I'll just tap into that feeling. What did we do? The adventures we had. How how loving it felt, how much fun, so that's what I do. And then sometimes I journal, I write that down, because even if I'm not feeling it, just me writing how good of a day I want to have, or just tapping into the memories, good memories, like anything, like saying, walking in my garden, I love the trees, sometimes it's very basic, but it changes the mindset. And then you'll see, as Steve says, the universe starts sending me more of that. Like, no matter how crap the day is, or no matter what happens, it changes that. It just sends me more. And then I'm like, and then the more I say thank you, the better the day will get. It's absolutely fascinating. You get what you ask for. So watch those thoughts, watch what comes out of your mouth, and watch the thinking, because we create with our thoughts.
Definitely. And I think one other thing too, when you talk about motivation, action creates motivation. You want to be motivated to do something, start doing it first. Don't wait for the motivation to kick in to do it, or you're likely going to be laying in bed for an extra 2 hours going, I really like to be doing that, but I'm not. If you just get up and start doing it, you're probably going to find that you're actually more motivated to keep going, and you're getting the reward and enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, spot on. And then just tapping into our next core needs is the need for significance. So some of us will want to be the person that stands out, that, I guess, the leader. It's all about me. And with significance, you can be really resourceful and unresourceful as well.
Definitely.
And I guess an unresourceful way, you could be an attention getter instead of an attention giver, or a significance getter. So you always want the significance for yourself instead of sharing that and giving it. And more resourceful ways, if you are someone who loves the significance, loves the praise, is by doing things, because people with significance usually has those leadership qualities as well. So do things that shows that side off, like achieving your goals, focus on that and let that speak for itself. Helping others, really resourcefully, getting the significance by volunteering. Often that's a way people get significance as well.
Yeah, that's much more resourceful, rather and I think the leadership side of things is massive in the significance side, because if you're only looking out for your own significance, your leadership quality is going to be poor, because you're not going to want to be leading by example. You're not going to want to be seeing other people succeed, because that's going to rob you of your own significance. So you really have to be coming from that space of giving the significance more than receiving it. And you'll probably find the more you give it, the more, well, it's like anything. The more you give it, the more you get it back. It makes such a difference.
Yeah. And watch out for that, the unresourceful significance, because that's often when we are, making up sad stories about ourselves because we want people to feel sorry for us. Gossiping can be really a getter of significance, because and putting people down. I find that, if significance is high on your core needs, if it's unresourceful, that's what happens, because you want that attention for yourself. So you will highlight yourself and put everyone else down. And
And that's an interesting
playing the
one.
victim, even often lying, to get significance, telling tall tales about how great you are, and it's just asking for significance and not sharing or
And
not
it's
giving significance to others.
and it's funny when you went through all those things, ties in very much to all of our shows from last week. People that are over having craving the need for significance, we didn't touch on it last week, but clear as day
Yep.
there, that's bullying. So
Yep.
there's another reason that we can, I know we're backtracking a week, but yeah, that's a big chance that someone's a bully because they're craving the need for significance. They need that attention. They need the focus on them. So they'll gossip, they'll bring people down, they'll not treat them with respect. So yeah, that only just came to me then, just thinking of that as you're saying, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
that's bullying right there. We can backtrack on that one.
So true. And, because significance is fantastic when you use it to stand out. You can speak up, you can use your significance in a giving way, whereas you speak up for those being bullied as well.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
ties in really well because you are someone that has those qualities. People who love significance, they stand tall, they and being resourceful in that way, people respect you anyway. So use that significance to your advantage and help others in a more resourceful way.
Definitely. And I love that. Like, there's so much we can do around significance that's going to help others more than ourselves, which will come back and make you significant no matter what. So you don't have to essentially go out and crave it for yourself. You
Don't
can.
be a significance getter, I guess, is
Yeah.
what we're saying. Give it, and it'll come back to you.
Yeah, because I think like on the other side of significance, when we come to the next core need, the love and connection, when you're the giver of significance, it's much easier to form that bond of love and connection. Because once again, these are paradoxical. They are basically opposites, but they also go hand in hand together, depending on how you relate to them and how you interact with the two separately.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with that, I guess, like we've been saying, love and connection also, you can have your resourceful and your unresourceful side. So with, I guess, unresourceful love and connection, you can stay in relationships and then sacrifice yourself, or you can do so much for others and sacrifice yourself. And that's not really balance, and that's not really often love either.
No, I think that's where people pleasing sneaks in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unresourceful love and connection. Just like always having to just think that somebody's not going to like you if you're not constantly saying yes and bending over backwards, and you're sort of eliminating the chance of love and connection with self because you're only ever wanting to please everyone else.
Yeah, and some of the toxic behaviors when we unresourcefully crave that attention or that connection or that love can be self-harm. So people will threaten self-harm or do self-harm because they want that attention. They think it's going to get them that connection and that love, instead of giving support and being the support and building true connections with their relationships or the people that they love.
Yeah, without a doubt. Because I know it's quite easy. Not easy. It's quite difficult to hear love and connection and think of anything unresourceful. But there's probably more unresourceful states to love and connection than there is resourceful when you actually dig down and deeper into them. Like, there's so many things that can do you harm, or it's like we always say, is it what you're doing good for you, good for the community, good for the environment, good for the greater good. And love isn't always great. If you're portraying it out in the wrong way onto someone who doesn't want it, isn't warranted, can cause fixations, can have so many unresourceful sides of love and connection also. And even I see it, like, my number one value is connection. I think everybody knows that I like to chat and meet new people and be in the middle of things, but I need to also be aware that that can't be the sole goal, because if I'm always out looking for new connections, then unresourcefully I'm ignoring my family or the kids or things that they need, or maybe other commitments that I have. So you sort of got to find that balance again and make sure that you're not just all gung-ho one way. And then I come back to the significant side and realize who the significant people are in my life that I need to give to, and it balances out that, and then love and connection comes back through significance. So it's that whole big circle again.
That's such a fantastic insight, and such a good point. Because often we think, yeah, but we're giving of ourselves, and we're giving love, or we're creating these wonderful connections. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, your family's not getting the connection or the love or the time that they also need, because they also want that love and that connection from you. So that's such a good point. Yeah.
Then they don't feel the love and connection. It's totally gone, and it's like, then you end up lonely.
Exactly. It's so true. And so through all of this, we can see we all have a little bit of everything, right? You'll meet your need for certainty in specific ways, and really thinking whether what I'm doing at this point, is it being resourceful or not? Then same thing with uncertainty. Am I going to the extremes because I want to, because actually with these needs, they also go together in a sense that usually if you love the variety, the uncertainty, the adventures, it goes with love and connection. So do you see how that works? So you're always looking for new connections. We say connections, but it's like with the uncertainty, new relationships, new people.
Yeah. So
and
much.
Then it ties into your love and your connection. So you're seeking that connection, but maybe you're not working on it in a sufficient way. Like you're not being vulnerable with the people that you should be, so that you can create that deeper connection, and you actually don't have to go outside of your relationships to find that love and connection.
It's so simple, isn't it? When you break it down, and again, the awareness of and understanding about how all of this stuff works, and knowing that no matter who you are, every one of us needs these same 6 things. So you can say, no, that's not me. But if you dig deep enough, every single one of us, we're all the same. It's just how we relate to each of the needs and what we do with them, and how I suppose one thing I haven't really looked at, but I'm sure each individual person would have different levels of importance on the 6 core needs, and they would naturally gravitate towards probably two or three from the top, and then one of the more of the spiritual side ones. I'm sure that would be a natural phenomenon for human behavior, that we'd flow that way.
On the spiritual side, we need to work on both. So on the spiritual side, we have to think about it. We have to grow. Everything in life grows, right? And we should always be contributing, because if we don't, those two things in life, those two things we have to really always balance out, to have a good life, the growth and contribution. Yeah.
I suppose
if you don't grow, anything that doesn't grow dies. So any changes, any and like even if you just contribute not just, but if you contribute to your family, if you contribute to a neighbor, we all contribute in some way. And so the more we do those two things, the higher you evolve on the, I guess, the spiritual plane as well. And the more the other four things don't become so unresourceful. Because when you're growing and you're learning, hopefully you're learning all the things so that you can see how the needs of the personality are, for you, are resourceful or not. And then when you're focusing on giving, which is contributing, you take the focus off yourself. So automatically that significance getter won't be doing that. They'll become, because you're contributing, will become a significance giver. The need for certainty or uncertainty in a resourceful way, because you're contributing to others, you'll get that certainty. You'll almost and you'll get that variety, because the more you contribute, the more you meet different people, or you doing different things. So you see how you meet those needs of the personality when you actually really hone in on the growth and the contribution. That's really important for all of us. We always have to be learning, contributing in some way, because we want to feel like we're making a difference, like we have I guess a purpose, and that we're growing all the time. These are really fascinating, and I don't remember us saying this, but I just wanted to say these 6 core needs are the work of Tony Robbins, and he's trained millions and millions of people on this, and he's seen the patterns. And basically what he said is that we will do anything to meet these needs. But what we need to be aware of is whether we're doing that in a resourceful or an unresourceful way. Yeah.
Yeah. I love what Caroline said there too. Your spiritual growth is about enlarging your capacity to love. How good's that? That is brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think even with our spiritual needs, if you don't have them balanced, that can create big problems as well. Because if you're only focused on growth for yourself with no contribution, that's going to lead you to greed and being very unresourceful in your love and significance and connection and everything. And then if you go to being a bit more of a contributor but not spending any time on inner growth and helping yourself, then all you're doing is staying small and not growing into the person you could be. But yes, you are serving a great service to the community, the greater good, anywhere you volunteer to. But I think that's a really, really important spot to have the two equals. So always grow, spend some time on growth, then contribute, and growth, contribute, and just have those two just in a beautiful alignment as much as physically possible. Is just, you can maximize the hell out of everything else.
So true. And just a quick hi to Sandy, I guess. Yeah, you're right. It's all about balance. But Steve, just when you were saying that, I actually was thinking about you and your job and the way you were. No, just the way you were explaining it. There must be, there is something in your job that's holding you there. So if you think about it, you contributing. And probably there's a bit of variety. If you're not doing the same thing every day, okay? Or maybe you are, but it's at different places, I guess. And correct me if I'm wrong. And then there's growth. So maybe you never do the same thing every day either. And often that's what sometimes keeps us stuck in a place where we don't want to be. Because even if we're not a values match with the place that we're at, the fact that we are contributing, the fact that we are growing, the fact that there's some form of certainty and connection will keep us there. So that's one thing to be aware of, and to really, I guess I'd say sometimes not be too hard on yourself, because if you are growing and if you are contributing, that's a great place to be in. But when there's not a values match, you will, as you say, sometimes you leave because there's not a values match. But because of your core needs, and that's why you see they say our core needs will drive us. It's driving you to stay there. And that's just an example. Maybe it isn't what's happening in your job, but often people who stay in jobs they don't really like, or there's something about the place they don't like. Maybe it's the values of some of the management, but they'll stay because they're getting that connection, they're getting the contribution, they're growing. So maybe the job's giving them training, and they have the variety because they're working on new projects all the time, and they're contributing meaningful to their team members or to the company or to outside. So it's really fascinating to unpack these things, because we can see why we have the behaviors we do. We'll stay in a situation or we'll stay in a place and say, why am I here? I don't want to be here. But these core needs or core drivers are keeping us there, because they say if you meet 3 or more of those needs, you become addicted to the situation or the place, and you can sustain that habit, whether it's a good habit or not.
Yeah, and you can definitely find easily all of something. It's not always going to be unresourceful. You are going to find some certainty that's resourceful. You are going to find the variety. You are going to get significance. Maybe not love and connection there so much, but growth and contribution. We found at some point it's not always going to be all the bad side of things. You are going to get resourceful sides out of all of those, even in something that you don't really think you enjoy. You will have moments of joy, and especially going back to Adam's question before, when we're setting the intention, you do tend to find it. And like after today's debacle, I spoke to Tessa and said, we've got the intention. Tomorrow it's going to be totally different. It's going to be great. We're not going to have any dramas. So we're just there it is. Tomorrow it's going to be perfect. And look at this. Look at everyone jumping on. It's good to see Sandy saying hello. Oh, and me mum. Me mum's popped on.
Hello. We're so happy you're here.
After the shout out for mum going to hospital last week, I've got to do a shout out for me dad. He goes to hospital tomorrow. So all the folks are he's got an operation. He'll be in there for a while. So yeah, but Dad doesn't have Facebook or YouTube or anything, so he won't know that I'm wishing him the best. But yeah, good luck, Dad.
We're sending him good vibrations, and he'll be feeling that. Sending him love.
Yeah, we'll send a bit of love out on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I tell you now, I keep thinking of growth, and I'm like, my growth's been unresourceful lately because I'm 10 kilos heavier than I was last year. So there's unresourceful growth. You don't got to be growing from the heart and mind, not the waistline. That's unresourceful growth.
So what have you been meeting? Your need for certainty.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's been my lack of certainty for going for my runs like I always was last year. The diet probably hasn't changed much, but the physical activity is definitely in a different space. Massive different space. So yeah, I've got to get back onto that. Find the resourceful side there. What am I getting out of not doing that?
Comfort.
Definitely comfort.
Yeah. So sitting on the couch. Sitting on the couch can be unresourceful certainty. You know.
Great in small doses.
Yeah. Great. Absolutely great in small doses. Yeah.
And Sandy's got a good question. Is there some needs that need to be fulfilled more than others?
So we all have the same 6 needs, but because of our upbringing and the beliefs and the information that we have and whatever programming we have in our subconscious, you will veer more towards one or the other, and you will meet those needs. So for example, and I'm going to read some notes that I brought because I think this was like, they'll say people, where is it? People who like have the need for certainty, they are usually trustworthy, they enjoy planning, they organize, they scheduled. I mean, you can hear it, right? There's certainty written all over that.
Yeah.
Then people
Spot
who
on.
are uncertainty love variety, adventure, changing things up all the time. So that's how you can, depending on the person you are, you can say, maybe, and then start thinking, so I guess my need for uncertainty is quite high. And am I being resourceful or unresourceful? Because then you have to balance it with a little bit of certainty. So we all have both. And the one will be really, that's the one that needs to be met. I need adventure. I need adventure now. And then you have to balance it and say, what's my adventure going to be? Maybe it's going to be going for a run, or, going in somewhere where it's resourceful in a different way. Same thing with significance and love. People with significance they are like, let me just see my notes. They have this high drive. Like we said earlier, they leaders. They love to stand out. So that's how you would know whether that is kind of your thing. They want respect. They want that respect. And then love and connection, there's loyalty, there's generosity, there's that, and not to say we don't have all a little bit of these things anyway, but you'll know which one stands out more for you. They give freely, and they're trustworthy. So those are just some of the ways that you can say, oh, okay, so I guess I identify with certainty, and I identify, and sometimes that's why we gave 3 different words. We said certainty is safety and comfort, because sometimes people don't love the name certainty. So they will say, no, comfort resonates with me, or safety resonates with me. And then for uncertainty, we gave the 3 names as well, where we said it was adventure and variety, because sometimes uncertainty doesn't resonate with everyone. So you will know what resonates with you. Significance can also be respect. So sometimes you just want some respect, give me some respect. Another word for significance. But is it being resourceful or unresourceful? And then with love, we said it was love and connection. So that's how you can tap into those things. If you can meet 3 or more of your needs in a really resourceful way, you're going to be a happy person, man. You are going to really, really be in a good space.
And the beauty of it, once you've got the awareness around which ones of the needs you tend to align with a bit more, and you have that clear understanding, I tend to stick more to variety than certainty, then you can maybe go, I might need to focus a little bit more on the certainty side of things, just so I can get that bit more balance and levelness in my life. That if you don't know, you don't know. And you'll just keep running amok in just the 1 or 2 certain areas of the core needs. And then you'll end up going, no, this isn't working for me. Why? And it's because you've got no idea. But if you know that, geez, I'm always wanting to skydive, or I'm doing 30 Ks over the speed limit every time I drive, it's like, that your love for adventure might be just a slight bit out of whack, and you need to pull that back a little bit and then come out on this other side. It tends to help that way a bit.
Yeah, and Sandy's spot on. And I think that certainty came through last week as well, and this is where you, when we were talking about bullying and, putting boundaries in place, sometimes our certainty can be unresourceful because we're afraid of losing our job, so we don't put those boundaries in place. And just, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just it's good to know what your core needs are, so that you can work on and be more resourceful. So I love that you know, because certainty is all around stability. So you'll want stability at home, you'll want stability in your job. And so anything that threatens that, you are going to, And Sandy, nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with feeling like that. However, you need to just make sure that it's resourceful, whatever I guess you do and you choose.
Well, I don't think Sandy will have to worry about that too much longer. I think, was it last week, Sandy, you were saying at the end of the month or next month it was going to be a time of change in that front. So yay. I might be joining you there too. Who knows yet? I'm just on the down low. 1 week.
1 week to go.
Yes, Sandy. She's going to love it.
And that's the kind of thing that's resourceful certainty, having something else before, I guess, you move on.
Yeah. And Caroline's in the same boat as me. She's got the same blocks with exercise and hasn't been doing yoga, weight gain. I think we're trying to hold on to something. Yes. Yeah. Exactly what it is probably the most pertinent question. If we can answer, it will disappear. For me, I think it's basically just excuses. For me personally, I think it's been
everyone's gaining weight.
I'm blaming COVID. That's it. It's lockdowns and everything else. Even though I was in a better state during lockdown, second one than I have been now. I think we may have got comfortable, and I think comfort's a big part of it. And we've possibly sort of. It's like anything. Once I started walking, after a month or so, I started jogging. After another couple of months, I started running, and it became enjoyable. It wasn't at the start, but then once I got that consistency, as I was saying before, action beats motivation. There was no motivation. This was just me. It was a habit, and I was really enjoying it. But then you stop for a day, and it's all right. It's all right. Get back into it tomorrow.
Yeah, the point
then it becomes a week, and then it's a month. And when you've stopped doing that sort of stuff for a month, then it's all your fears come back. Then you're like, I can't do it. It's going to be too hard. Or you try to do it, and then your body tells you can't do it, and you're like, I've got to go back to square one. All that months of work that got me to here, I've blown away in a month of not doing it. So I think Caroline's on board. All right, let's do this, team.
I also need to get on board.
I reckon give us a week we'll work on this in mindset stuff for the next 7 days. We're going to smash in, for us guys over here, we're going to smash summer. We're going to hit the 1st of December summer running amok. For all our friends in the north, it's a bit trickier for you guys getting out and running amok at the start of winter, but I think we can do it. There's benefits for both sides of us. It's going to be stinking hot and we're going to suffer, and for you guys it'll be freezing cold, but sometimes that's okay. And I think we might set something. I'll chat to Caroline later. Actually, I'll be seeing Carol. I'm on Caroline's show on Friday night UK, Saturday morning our time. We might have to discuss it there, but I think we could set up a maybe a little bit of an accountability zone in the Mental Health Warriors group or page, and we might be able to see anyone who wants to be involved with us for a bit of a fitness blitz, and then we can sort of keep each other on track and give a bit of motivation and love. And I think that helps heaps. If there's a group of us doing it together, it's going to be so much easier for us to get up every morning, and we can share some insights on how we've gone and any struggles and get around each other. Yeah, I'm liking it.
I like that. Not running for me, just walking. Yeah, Sandy, and that's okay. Whatever is okay for you, you just. And I guess the thing also to remember is not we do it all the time, but don't beat yourself up. Just start, and get back into it. Yeah.
Yep. a 3 kilometre walk as opposed to half an hour on the couch is a monumental, massive, resourceful win. There's no distance records. There's no like speed records. It's just the doing it. Caroline, so sorry to hear that, and that would make perfect sense. Caroline's just saying she thinks that since her dad passed away in May, and grief is a huge trigger to stop us doing these things, without a doubt.
Caroline, I am so with you on that. I think the same thing happened with me. I've had a few family members who passed away this year, and that's when I also lost that exercise regime. Just went out the door. It was, yeah.
See, and that's the thing. My reasons are totally unresourceful. You guys have total legitimate resourceful reasons, and I'm just over here being a lazy fat man. So now I'm extra motivated, and I'm going to dedicate it to the people that have suffered more than me and should have the right to be sitting at home and relaxing, because I'm just lazy. Not acceptable. I'm going to jump on board for you guys.
Yeah. I think with support, we can all, we can do it. We just need, everyone needs accountability buddies, and just be kind to yourself. If you're having an off day, it's okay as long as you get those runners out tomorrow and keep going. Is that Adam? Does this mean I'm doing it? Yeah?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to pull you into anything, Adam, but you'd hate to miss out. You wouldn't want to be the only one not doing it.
I can see what core need Adam has. What do you think? We love you, Adam. We love you.
Oh, Adam's going to do the run in the honour of Philip Shan. This is great. This has got legs. I can't wait. We'll get onto that this weekend. And anyone that's interested, we might we'll share about what we're planning on doing, and a bit like what I was doing in Time to Thrive for winter, and totally botched that up and didn't achieve the plan through some other commitments. But you never can not start again. Doesn't matter when, day one or one day. Let's make it day one on the 1st of December, I think. And I suppose we better wind this up, Tessa. We've already here we were saying, I reckon we'll knock this out in 45 minutes. An hour and 2 minutes later, we're still yammering away. Not bad for a topic we weren't overly prepared for and knew heaps about.
It's a great topic, guys, and we just wanted to introduce it to you. So do your own research, as we always say. Yes, where that spiritual growth comes in. Go and find out more about it. Tony Robbins does a great podcast on it, I think.
Yeah.
He's got some great insights, because
I'm sure YouTube's got a billion different versions of him talking about it as well.
Yeah. And we got taught this, at our coaching school, and so it's always stuck with me that our needs will drive our decisions and our behavior. So it's such a good topic.
Yeah.
Or something to be aware of.
Definitely worth being aware of. We love awareness. It's my favorite word, with gratitude.
Thank you, Caroline, Kerry, Adam, Sandy, and all who jumped on and joined us.
And we better make sure that we don't forget, because I always like to plug the great Dale Walsh's Straight Sane and Sober, which will be on at 8 p.m. UK time. And I believe he'll be discussing the 3 principles of life. I think that sounds right to me. And we've got a big day. Wednesday's a big day. I'm pretty sure Adam was saying we have 4 shows on. Melissa will be jumping back in for her second show. I'll be back, Power Hour of Mindfulness. Kerry's on with an interview as well. It is just all happening. So, yeah, as always, everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch us, all your amazing comments. We love the interaction. We love the support. We love you guys. It's always a pleasure. Tessa, you're a superstar. Always a superstar. Love it.
Thank you, Steve. Love hosting this show with you. Love that your mom jumped on. So sweet of her to support us.
Love the support.
Love having you.
It's all about significance. Significance from loved ones.
Yes.
All right, guys, we've taken up enough of your night or your morning or your afternoon. We will be back again next week, same time. Not sure what we're talking about yet, but we will come up with something over the weekend and get it all ready to roll. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.